Hey dudes, we are inside the castle walls of my kingdom on Infinite Heights, and today we're going to be working on the last two admin shops, the Engineer and the Blacksmith. It's coming up right now. So, just to help you get oriented, there's Castle Valor up on the mountain, and we are swooping down into the market area. We are coming in on the last two shops to your right to finish up the admin shops. Check it out. First on the right is the blacksmith and the engineer shop in red. Not too shabby. Gonna have some fun, dudes. So let's check it out. And so you can see here, as usual, we're starting with the foundations. I happen to be working with from the ground up for these. I guess I just made them a little bit too tall there. Not a big deal. Taking them back down, building them back up. You know, you don't have to, I guess, work from the ground up on them, but you know, that's how buildings are made. And I feel like if I can get as close to how things are actually constructed as I can when I'm working on them in Minecraft, I find that the results reflect, the results reflect the reality. So I think it helps. Does it actually help? I don't know. Maybe it's a placebo effect, and I just, I convince myself that it helps, and then I think that it does. I don't know. So we're working on the engineer shop here, and I'm trying to mix up the different colors that I'm using. And so I'm thinking to myself, oh, I use redstone blocks, and then you would know, because the redstone blocks are obviously redstone, you would know that it's engineer from a great distance, and then put them in, and I was just like, that's just going to be too busy. I thought it was going to be a little bit too busy, so I took them out and I used red wool in their place, which is still pretty bright. Definitely red. Definitely red. And remember, part of the red clay, it's red clay, red hardened stained clay, and red wool. And part of what's, I don't know, I guess part of it is that, it really is going to be obstructed by the windowsills that I choose to put on it. So that's a concern also. And I just, for these, just for the style I chose, I just happened to choose wood for all of them. I thought that it would make the most sense, but, any kind of detail you can add to the outside is pretty much always a plus in my mind. So, I'm using birch here because it's something that I think it goes okay. It wouldn't necessarily be my first choice, but I'm not just, I'm not making this in a vacuum. In other words, I'm creating this in a greater context, and that greater context is the other structures that surrounded the other admin shops. And so I'm really considering, if I use oak again, which is what I might have chosen otherwise, if I use oak again in there, like, is that gonna look okay? Really? Like, I want it to stand out a little bit. And in my mind, it was more important to me to have variety than to necessarily make each individual one exactly what my first choice would be. So, I'm looking at, when I'm building this, I'm looking at, okay, this is going to have to, it's more important that this functions better as a part of a whole than if I try to make this an individual thing that stands out. Because if I try to make it an individual thing that stands out, it's actually going to bring down the level of variety and detail in the whole, which, is counterproductive. I'm trying to create a real, like, kind of little environment here. So, the concern is the greater environment, not just each individual thing. I mean, if you'll notice here, you can see into the underside of the mountain. And so I actually have to build a house that's symmetrical front to back, versus the other side, the ones that are built into the north wall, those are asymmetrical. The front is is flat, and then the back that goes into the wall is actually a little bit smaller than the front that sticks out. So these are the houses here along that face the mountain actually are a little bit bigger, and to kind of go with the flow of the mountain, I've also built them a little bit taller, so they have about an extra half floor ish of space, maybe an extra full floor, 2 halves of a floor. It's hard to explain, but the mountain slopes down, you can see here, from right to left, and that's how the structure of the admin shop roofs also kind of flows. And I'm screwing around in here, just trying to figure out the blocks to use, and which way to orient the slabs and things like that for window sills, window panes in the roof. And here we are working on the blacksmith, and you can see I was just kind of messing around on the blacksmith, trying to pick out a color palette, and I just, I set those 6 blocks right in the front there. I set them up, and I just, I thought to myself, okay, let me put these things next to each other and make sure they all look good next to each other. So I went with spruce logs for the frame, and I went with oak for the wood details, and then quartz and iron blocks, and it's actually cyan stained clay. The cyan stained clay just looks like dark gray. It's actually wool. The first iteration was with the clay, and then it went into wool, and I believe I ended up using the clay, cyan clay, as a detail on the stonemason, because they're similar color palettes. Here you can get a good shot of get a good sense of the symmetry in front to back. Frame out the roof here. And the blacksmith shop, it's not only that I'm concerned with the composition of the shops, or continuing to maintain variety, from one shop to the next. It's not that. It's also that the significance of each shop. So the blacksmith shop is going to be one of the well-used shops. You can buy weapons and armor and things there, and so that should be a kind of a higher profile shop. You know what I mean? So I made the shop itself a little bit bigger, and I spread out around the market itself shops of different significance. So there wasn't one part of the market that people would travel to only where all the good shops were, or all the most frequently used shops were. There is, it's actually spread out. The significance of the shops is spread out also. Just finishing up, and it takes me 5 or 6 passes because I don't know why, but I always miss windowsills or awnings. I always do, and I got to keep doing different. I got to keep doing loops and stuff to make sure that laps to make sure that I actually get them all. Whatever, hey, I don't care. I'll take 4 laps, but then, I know that I'll actually have them all done. Getting excited. We're wrapping it up here. Let's do a flyby. What do you think? Here we are. There's the stonemason with the cyan clay on the left. The engineer without the redstone blocks the blacksmith with the cobble supports on spruce with oak details. Quartz for the top. Not bad. So, let's see how we did. Let's take a look at the finished product. So we're just coming down the stairway here. This is a new-ish stairway that we built. There'll be a let's build about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, baby cakes. So we have here, the first is the blacksmith. And there's a shopping area in front. Okay, obviously underneath. Then there are some apartments here that I didn't actually get into when I was doing the original recording for the Let's Build It These, because this came after. But that's there. There's a path in front now and behind underneath the lip of the mountain. And yeah, so here are the shops. So you can obviously, you can access them from both sides. And we ended up doing some bi-color work here, just to kind of keep interest and change it up so it wasn't one solid color. And I know we have a lot of other things going on, obviously, but you know, we switch it up. So let's take a look inside. The engineer shop is not that big, because it's not going to be able to sell very many items. So, you know, no reason for it to be huge. It's not going to be like wood or the stone shop or anything like that, but I don't know what's going on over here, but I threw that in there. I wanted to finish it off a little bit. All we need is like a little bit of a ladder to get up there, and there's some usable space up top, which I didn't throw the ladder in yet. I might not use it. I might throw, I don't know, bookshelves or something else up there, but there's space up there for you to get some cool stuff done. Lots of room around. Lots of room. Not too bad. Visible beams running around everywhere. Pretty sweet. Let's head down to the blacksmith. Now the blacksmith is a little bit bigger because there's so many more weapons and those kinds of things that you can buy. There's a couple walls here, so let's check it out. We have iron block walls. I keep wanting to call them steel. They're obviously not steel. I keep wanting to call them steel, though. Then we head up. There's so much room. There is so much room for this to be furnished well, and you can see all the shops looking out the windows and stuff. And then here we are up into the top floor. Now there's some exposed beams, a little bit of a higher ceiling here. And I left it open, and then there's just like a platform. And here's one I did finish with the ladder, so you can kind of peek up here. Now this obviously needs to be slid over so we can actually fit up, because right here what you're seeing is the roof line there. So, but yes, what do you guys think? Not too shabby, huh? That's pretty much it for the admin shops. I mean, they're done. The area around has some work, which again, like I said, will be coming in future Let's Builds. But that's pretty much it. So that's it for this episode. I hope you dudes enjoyed watching. Hope you had fun checking out how I made the admin shops. I hope it was a good ride for you guys. Hope maybe you learned something or you think they're cool. Either is good. You can check these out yourself by hopping on to our server. The IP is play.ih-mc.com or play.infiniteheightsmc.com. Either will work. Come in and check it out. Walking around my area, dude. You can see these actual builds, hang out in the space if you want, derp around a bit, and have a good time. Check us out on the Infinite Heights forums at InfiniteHeightsMC.com. And check out my YouTube channel for other Let's Plays, Let's Builds. Man, lots of fun on there. Lots of fun. Server contest videos, all kinds of stuff happening with Infinite Heights and Minecraft on the YouTube channel, so definitely check it out. Thank you again so much for watching. I genuinely do appreciate it. I appreciate every single view, like, comment, and sub. I really do. So thank you. I appreciate it. As for right now, though, it's TheeRealDuke, and I'm out.